Hey guys, I am recording this video because I want to talk a little bit about your personal brand essay and just kind of like what we're doing in this unit. Every time I think about it, it makes sense in my head, and then sometimes I share the idea that I'm asking you guys to write about with my colleagues, and they look at me like, why are you doing that? Or that's kind of silly. And so I don't know how you guys will, I don't know if you've ever been asked to do something like we're doing in this first unit. I don't know if you think it's dumb, or maybe, by the end of it, you might roll your eyes, or in the beginning you're rolling your eyes, or I don't know. I think that depends on how you approach the assignment. And so I just want to talk a very little bit, which will probably be a full 15 minutes, about the assignment and just kind of like what's up. Why are we doing this? And why did I change the course so that we could do this? Okay, so I want you to start off by knowing that in a nutshell, basic college freshman writing courses generally have students start with some kind of personal writing. Oftentimes that's a literacy narrative, which talks about how you learned to read and write. Sometimes that's an educational history. Sometimes that's what biases do you hold? Something that is personal. And sometimes personal writing can just kind of help you loosen up and get your ideas flowing, whatever. We're doing the same thing. This is a beginning to a freshman writing course, and we're doing personal writing. So the way that I've tailored our personal writing is to start with a personal brand essay. And the reason I picked this as our personal writing for the semester is because I've noticed so much, and I am a millennial. I'm on the internet a lot, and I think about like students and how students are different from when I started teaching 7 years ago. But anyway, what I see a lot is how everybody is, okay, that's not fair. A lot of people, and especially a lot of my students who are kind of in the majority of maybe your age brackets, not all of you, I know, but most of you, a lot of people want to figure out like how to use the internet, and particularly social media and probably Instagram or whatever, to, I guess, kind of create and cultivate an image of themselves or their work or their ideas, and whether that's funny or serious or both, or calm, or I don't know, whatever it is. I see the desire for wanting to do that. And so what I'm thinking is I'm always trying to find a new way to introduce old concepts that are relevant to what's going on in the world today. And I guess I really just mean like with marketing. And also, I have a background in business in addition to having English degrees. I have a business degree, and so I kind of just sometimes think on the more businessy side of things. And so I think about, how can this class be as relevant to you as possible? And what's going on here is that I want you to figure out, and I'm hoping that this essay will do this for you, how you're going to market yourself. And you might think, well, like, I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to market myself, but everyone has to market themselves in some way, whether you're selling yourself for this big promotion or even just for a intern level job or a, like low level job. How are you going to distinguish yourself from all of the other job candidates? Or if you are thinking about it from like an influencer's perspective, then how are you going to be the influencer that gets millions of followers on social media and puts their ideas out there, or whatever it is that you're doing? How are you going to market yourself socially if that's your thing? Like, you want to have lots of friends, or you want to really have friends that understand you. And so it comes with a personal brand, or, even if you're like, no, I'm not buying into anything you're saying so far, Miss Osborne, I get it. It could even just be like, you better defining who you are for yourself. Who are you? And now you know this. And so if you are browsing the internet or shopping or talking with someone and you realize that what you're looking at doesn't really sit with your values or who you are as a person, then maybe you should walk away. And that could be on a small scale, like, you know what, this company I don't really agree with this company, so I'm not going to shop here anymore. Or maybe that could be something like, I don't agree with this person, so I'm not going to vote for them, or whatever. So knowing who you are on more of like a personality level and an interest and a values level, I think is really, really important. And so that's what we're working on. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy. And when I talk to people about it at work, they're like, ooh, I don't know, sounds kind of cheesy. So I hope that you'll kind of proceed with me through this project with an open mind. And then like throughout stages, give me feedback, because you guys are kind of my first class to go through this project, you guys and everyone in 111 this semester in my class. So, let me know what you think. But be nice to me if you're going to give me constructive criticism. Okay, so what we're doing first is the personal brand essay. And you really get to kind of mold this essay in however you want. There are a number of different ways that you could, I think, focus your essay, but that's really what you have to first figure out is, how do you want to focus your essay? And I don't think that this is an essay that you can just like sit down and write. I really do think that you have to kind of do some kind of brainstorming for it. Read the assignment sheet, read the whole thing, figure out what I'm asking you to do, and then start brainstorming and kind of organizing your ideas, because I don't think that it will come out clearly. And that's also kind of the concept of a personal brand, is that it's clear. Your audience, you always have an audience, knows who you are, and so do you. So when you're kind of thinking about your ideas, I'm looking for something that I wrote down here, but I can't find it. So I don't know. Here we go. Okay. So when you're thinking about like how you want to write about who you are, you could think about all of these, but you don't have to think about every single one. I would just pick the ones that you think are part of or most important. For example, if your personality is really like the key to who you are, then write about that in your essay. If your values are really the key to who you are, these are the things that I value and that's important more than any of the other things on this topics list, then write about that. If you really go with like your passions and what inspires you, then write about that. Whatever is something you focus on and think, yeah, this is how I would characterize myself. That's what I want to see in your personal brand essay. As you work through the content for these couple of weeks while we're working on personal brand, I am not a personal brand expert. I don't make personal brands for other people. I really am just kind of working on these assignments as y'all do them, because I don't really know what my personal brand is. And you might be thinking like, well, how could you teach us this? I am not teaching you personal brand, and I am not like evaluating how creative or unique or catchy or true your personal brand is. I'm evaluating how you express your concept of who you are, and how you use other people's ideas. Later on, there's more to come here, but how you use other people's ideas to create things, and how you reflect on that. So by no means do I claim to be an expert on branding, whether for you or someone else. So keeping that in mind, just know that you could say like, your personal brand is this, that, and this. Okay, great. I don't really know, and I'm grading and evaluating based on clarity of content, how it flows together, how it's unified. Can I envision it? Did you describe it effectively to me? Did you use details? That's really, really important here. So with that being said, I have really curated content. Okay, so what I mean is I did not write every single word that you see in Blackboard for these couple of weeks. I will give credit where I get this information, and if you want more information, you can always follow those links to the external sources. But really, there is no textbook on creating a personal brand. Our textbook does not talk about personal brands. It talks about narrative writing, which is often personal, but it doesn't talk about branding. So I have to grab that content from elsewhere. You'll see throughout this unit a lot of links, credit is given to or information borrowed from, and then I will link you to a source. So just know that this is not all from my brain. It is just curated from sources across the internet to kind of help us best understand what we're looking for here. And really, I made myself a little list of things to tell you guys about, but the last one on the list is why, and I think that I've kind of covered that already. Figuring out who you are helps you know yourself better, and it helps other people know you better, and I think that it helps you make decisions that aren't going to be like buyer's remorse type decisions. And I don't necessarily just mean, buying things, but buying into things as well. Even further, and maybe the thing that could be the most like so what-y of this is, as you're writing your kind of finalizing your essay, one of the things that I'll ask you to do is consider brands, advertising styles, and arguments that you might be the most susceptible to. So like, for example, I love like Victorian literature and cute like grandma looking things, and so if any kind of advertiser went with like sage green and ruffles and sort of like that rusty pink, I'm all in. Like, just because that is something that is I'm a visual person. It's tied to like my love for books and literature, and particularly like British stuff. I think that I would buy into that without even questioning it. But this class is writing and inquiry, and if you know yourself, then you can know the things that you're most susceptible to being, to be convinced by, and then question those even more, because that will either get you to say, you know what, maybe I'm wrong, or it will just strengthen your decision to purchase something, decision to vote for someone, decision to believe in whatever your policy or something like that. So I think that that's really important. And then finally, the last thing I'll tell you guys is that, like I said before, I'm not an expert on this, and all of the assignments that I'm giving you guys to do, or suggested assignments, like the personal brand brainstorm, I'm working on them myself, and so I'm going to put examples as I kind of progress through these weeks with you guys. I already have an example of like my brainstorm, my personal brand statement, and then an outline. So I'm going to share that with you guys as well. And, as long as you just don't like judge me too harshly for writing that I'm super inspired by Emma Watson, we'll be good. Please email me at any point if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them. If you even are just like, I still don't get it, why are we doing this? Like, I will do my best to explain it to you. Also, Fridays are my work on y'all's class days, so please feel free to come see me in my office. My office hours are posted in Blackboard. My office location is posted in Blackboard. If you need me, if you have any questions, just please, please, please reach out. I'm here for you guys. Make sure you're spelling my last name right when you send me an email, or else I might never respond. Have a good weekend, or a good week. I guess you'll be watching this on Monday.